Hello everyone, my name is Lavkesh and welcome to my project video. In this video, basically, I'm going to talk about my project Dry Runner. Dry Runner. In this video, I'm going to talk about what this project is, what it does, how it does that, and where it can be used, how to improve it, basically, what are its limitations, and basically all that stuff about that. In the end of video, if there is time, then I'm gonna basically go to a quick walkthrough of the code, if there is time. So let me start by introducing me first. My name is Lokesh, and I'm a student of Mate College, Delhi, India. If you're outside of India, so let's talk about the project. The project name is Dry Runner, and this is basically all to the project that is on the front end part. In the left section, there is how to use it, feedback. If you want to give feedback, there is basically contribute section. You can like click on different links if you want to maybe contribute to the project on GitHub, donate, give feedback on all that stuff. Uh, it may not be like a beautiful front end, but mm, it's actually it does the job. So here basically there are multiple themes. You can select the theme of your choice. I'm using Code Mirror Code Editor for the coding purpose. Mm, Here we can select the languages, but the current language is only Java. But we can add support for multiple languages very easy. I will show you in the end how to do that because I need the support for other languages like C++, Ruby, not Ruby, I guess, Go. Basically, all those languages that you want, the project can support it with a very minimal effort. Here there is a custom input field where you can give custom input and it will be run with the code. I will be showing you one or two examples that where we will give custom input and then we are going to run it with the code. And here basically there is submit button. You click it, it will do its magic and give you the recursion tree of your code. And the thing is, the code is just not limited to recursion tree. Uh, it can create recursion tree. It can create a beautiful recursion tree with no errors at all. But it can also be used with, like, let's say, in the real world example, basically we have multiple projects. We have multiple functions in every project. Like maybe there are 10 functions, 20 functions, and then you don't maybe you forgot, or like you are confused about which function is calling the which functions and stuff like that. So basically, it can create you a tree like, okay, the function A called function B called function C and D, then D again called A, and basically it will show you all the, if there is a loop, it will show you that functions are in a loop. If it's a recursion, it will show you that, okay, then this is the recursion tree that the functions are creating. If they are just normal function calling one and one by each other, then it will just show you a linear line of like, this is the function and it called this one, this one, this one. It will also show you the inputs that are passed to a function right now. And currently it doesn't show the return, but I will also show you how to, like, this project is not 100% complete because it is just like, it's a very big project for the initial setup, and I need kind of community support to complete the whole project. That's why I'm mm, making all the code available on GitHub. You can see it from the description below, and below the, like, in the description tag of the video. I will give you a GitHub link, and on the GitHub link you will have all the basically how to run the code. This website is not live yet, so you have to run it on your local machine. And yes, I will give you all the instructions. It doesn't contain a lot of instructions. It's just a basic node project that you can easily run. So okay, let's start with the project. Here I have selected basically a few questions. I copied from the internet. I will be running these functions live on this video, and then the code. But basically, the code is not limited to them. You can run any functions that you have. And I picked just these from internet so that we don't have to search during the video. If you have any other functions, the code will basically run without any problem with that function too. So this is the first function. Uh, help us. What this function is does is basically it will print number. Let's say you passed a 6, then it will print 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is the function. It's currently a recursive function because it's calling helper here again. So sorry, you paste the function and then you just press submit. It will do some magic. I know there are some animations left, and then basically if your code is like it worked fine, it will give you a message, your code is processed and the output is pasted to clipboard. A new website will now open and paste your code to input field. It will create that tree for you. What basically it does in the backend, that from this code it created a JSON tree, where JSON tree is like JSON tree is basically the tree that will contain, okay, this function is calling this, this is calling this, and the JSON tree is complete. It is created by our code. And but to show you the tree to the visualize, to help user the visualize, currently I'm using a different website. The website name is venepa.jp.net hashtag tree. It's also available on, its code is on the GitHub. So if anyone wants to check that. The JSON tree is copied to our clipboard. So all you have to do is like paste the JSON tree here and click visualize. The code will, this is the tree that is created by that code. Like first we have main, main called the helper with input 6, and then it called the helper with input 5, then it called the helper with input 4, 3, 2, 1, and stuff like that. It called first we passed the 6, so helper is called with 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stuff like that until we hit the n equals to 1 recursion code. So let me tell you like what this project basically does. Mm, we basically paste or write the code in the input field in the text editor. We hit submit, it will send the code to the backend, and then there are basically a multiple steps happening in the backend. The first and foremost step is basically first actually I wanted to create a whole compiler, but then I read about it on the internet. They said you can't create a compiler alone in like maybe a few months or so. So I settled for the next best thing. I'm using string manipulation. So there are like limitations. I will talk about them, all the limitations the code has, and what can you do, what can't you do. Like there are some function names that you can't use in this code editor for a better. Otherwise, like it will give you wrong results. I will talk about everything, basically all the limitations that I know right now, and I need other people's help. Like I need community help to fix all everything because the project is just basically too long. So what it does. Hmm. First, it will basically find all the functions in the functions. It doesn't matter how many functions there are. There are 2 functions, there are 10 functions, there are 100 functions. And the best I have tested is around 15 or 16 functions, and there is just no problem. You can type each type of function. There is, you can do basically everything. So it like find the function. There are according to him there are 2 functions. There is a function named helper whose return type is void, and there is function named main whose return type is also void, which is absolutely correct. This is the first step process. The second step process is basically it will add print statement to the start of every function and end of every function. Start of every function basically when the function is called. Like let me show you in the actual file. Like here it added inside helper, and then it will print the all the inputs that are given to that current function. Then when the function is like returning, like there is a return, then it will add system.out.print exit helper, and there is also a return though, so it will also add exit helper again. So basically it will just add input helper and exit helper to the every function. This will be the second step of the code. The third step of the code is basically just put it in a file and run it. I'm using like basic child FSE, all the process to run the code in the Java. The next and final step is after the code is completed. I guess it's not logged to the console. So yeah, I can't show you that right now. But let me add a file for the next function. Mm, it will. I will show you it on the when the next function is running. After that code is run, it will basically get all the inputs, like all the outputs will printed by that Java file, and then it will run an algorithm. The algorithm is basically create JSON. Then it will use the algorithm to create a JSON tree of that. We will send that JSON tree to the front end, and then the JSON tree will be copied, and it will open this new website where you can basically visualize the whole function. This is the basic workflow of the website. Let me show you with another example. Let me like take the good one, like a big one for right now. Yes, this is a good example. We have all used Tower of Hanoi like multiple times. This is basically the Tower of Hanoi code. You have disk, you have source, auxiliary, and destination, and then you have to tell like if there are 3 disks, how to like get all disks from the source to the destination with the help of auxiliary code. So let me call this function. Let's pass just three. One is A, B, and C. So I just like call the tower of any function from here. It will call it again and again. Let me. The console is like cleared from right here. Right here. I call the function, I press submit, it will go to backend, it will do everything, and then it will give you this message. If your code is correct, it will give you this message. If code is wrong, it will give you another message. If there are maybe like syntax error or there if there are like syntax error or the stuff like that, it can't just process. It will show you. And there are it is like running the same code twice. First, when we haven't made any changes, so that if a user has written something and it's wrong already, so we are running it first. So make sure that we are like so that when we change it, we are making sure that we are not doing any mistake from outside when we are adding those extra print statements. So code is copied. I paste it. Uh, sorry, I guess the video paused. Let me run it again for you. The video post for a second. You might not notice it. So this was the function. This is the void main. I press submit. The code is copied to my clipboard. I get this error. I control paste it and I click visualize. This is the tower of Hanoi. And like I'm not saying maybe like you are expert and you can create all these trees on CopyPen, but it is just too tiring. Sometimes we just made a simple mistake and we don't want to like bring CopyPen and like okay, let's draw the recursion tree and again. And we can use this tree. If you don't understand how the recursion exactly works, you can use this project and for all of that. So it created the recursion tree of the Tower of Hanoi for us. Like there are three ABC, then it will call Tower of Hanoi for variables 2A, CB, then for 2P, AC, it will call these, and then we will hit the base case here, and it's correct. I have verified it, don't worry. So let me show you the output again. Mm, mm. After the like, oh, hmm. um, I guess it's we have printed something, but it's not correct. Basically, like, and this shows the JSON tree that you have created from that function, from that input output file. Like there is a main function has children, and there are two children. No, there are just one children of Tower of Hanoi 3 ABC. Then it has two children, child count is 2. Then here the child count is also 2. Here the child count is just 0. So it will show us all of that. And let me show you another great thing. Instead of console logging answer, we can also console log data. Uh, I will show you like the output. What I want to show you right now is the output after we have like added the in and exit statements to the function. How does the and then how the algorithm is like running on them, how it is creating that JSON tree that I just showed you. Same function. I press the submit button again. We got the error. The tree will be same because it's the same code. Yes, this is the main thing. After we have like added those functions, it printed us like in main and then all the variables of main in tower Hanoi 3 ABC, in tower of Hanoi 2 ABC, in tower of Hanoi 1 ABC. Basically, what I noticed that once we are in the function, everything that is printed by that will be in this function. And let's say this, here it is in tower of Hanoi 1 ABC. This was tower of Hanoi in 1 ABC. I guess this is the base case. When there are one disk, and then we will hit the base case where we will just print out source and destination. So we were in Tower of Hanoi. There is only one disk left, so we have hit the base case, and then we wanted to print it source and destination here. So this is the output by the actual user code A and C. So maybe like if you wanted to show user, okay, and here are the functions that are calling each other, and this function is calling the this function is printing this basically this. So I have not read it yet, but this can be like a future improvement. When we are in function and there is an output, then we will know that this output is from this function, that this function printed this line. So we can show user, okay, the function first printed this line, then this. Basically, it will be much easier to debug if you know, like, okay, this is the function tree. Each function is calling this function. Each function is printing this function. Each function then is returning this value or like node or something like that. Everything that. And then there is like if the base, if it contains in or exit in front of it, then it means like we printed it, and if not, then the user printed it. Here like and there is a limitation like right now. If instead of just printing the normal source destination and stuff like that, I do a print of statement of in or exit, then it will fail right now, because it will just assume that maybe like our our code like write that exit or in statement, and it might fail, it might not. I'm not sure about that. Um, so there are like some limitations, like I said, because it's a string manipulation, and there are limitations in string. But we can achieve that by, let's say, instead of using indent main, we can use a UUID for this. UUID will be highly unique, so there are like no chances that a user can guess that UUID, and it will be able to mm, hack the algorithm, or like do something wrong or stuff like that. So this is basically what that output will create. Based on this output, we will create that recursion tree that I showed you, and everything will basically work fine. This is the working of the code. Now let's talk about some limitations. I will be running these algorithms here, and then I will showing you limitations with each of like what limitations that does this algorithm have, what does this have, and stuff. Okay, so case 6, it's a very good case. Uh, this is the code of merge sort. We have all done that. And one very good thing about this code is editor, because I have tried some website, and there is some very good website in that does the same thing in Python. But either they only like allow a very few custom sets of input that they will create recursion tree, or they just do it in Python, or they just allowed one function and stuff like that. This thing is highly dynamic. And in the end, I will like I also show you how to create it, how to use this algorithm for multiple language and all that stuff. So this is merge sort. Let me copy this. Mm, Merge sort is calling merge sort with capital S. It's calling merge sort with small s, and then it's calling merge again and again. And we are calling it from our. First, let me create a array. I will show you input, but inputting array is a little big, so let's just 3, 5, 2, 6, 4. And this is the function that we need to call. And merge sort, basically we just pass the array. Yes, we just pass the array. This is correct. I press the submit button. It will go. It will do its calculation, and it gave me a result. Yep, it's a big result. So let me like zoom out a little bit. So this was the this was the main function. I guess you can see my screen. Let me zoom it a little bit. We started with the main function, and there was one child count for the main. It's the default string args argument. The main called the merge sort with the capital S, and it has reversed this and child count one. Like this is again a simple, not a limitation. Basically, it's a feature that is yet to be implemented. It can easily print the default like num, chars, or strings, or like the basic functions. But the support for arrays, string arrays, integers arrays still left to be added. We still have to add it. I already have like the working how to add it, but it will need time. It's like a little bit of big project. So then the merge sort with the capital S. Uh, Here it called the merge sort with simple s, and here is the merge sort. Here there like the array address is printed instead of the array like I at the rate, you can see it. It's I, so integer array, and the input for 0 and 5. Start index and end index. So it will tell us like this is the start index, this is the end index. Then from 0 and 5, we call 0 comma 2, 3 comma 5, and there is also one null entry. Here we will return the base case, so there will be nothing after this. And from let's say 3 5, there will be 3 4, there will be 5 5, there will be again a null entry and all that stuff. It's a correct. You can again verify it. And the reason I used this website was because this website also let you like export the SVG string in case you want to share it with the user. In the future, I'm gonna implement our own recursion tree so that we don't have to just go to this website. And then I will be like also adding support for just wait a minute. Like there are wheres, maybe like the what are the print statement, or let's say if the some variable is like way too big, like sometimes the array can be 100 value of 100 characters or 100 integers, 1000 strings, integers, stuff like that. So I'll be like adding like okay, you can just it's minimized, but if you want to, when you click on it, it will print that array for you in a separate dialog or in somewhere in the corner, so it doesn't. Basically, we will be creating a more beautiful and interactive tree in the future. Mhm. So this was the more short. Like I said, like we still have to implement if you have to print array. The another feature was, let's say, and these are I have also I have added some like basic return types like void, int, string, capital integer, and integer array, string array, and all that stuff. But there is also a case sometimes when you use classes and then we use functions to return those classes. So let's say there is a class called pair, and then we are using pair to return that function. So basically we can't just print the pair, it will print it address, but it will not be very useful to the user. So what I have think of implemented is like in every pair function, we can ask the user that you make a print statement in every pair. Basically, like if the pair, then you also make a function, or what are those called? Like I don't remember what are functions in classes called. It's been too long. I coded in Java. Hmm. So then you can basically add this, and like there is a print function, and then instead of calling the direct print function on that class, we will just call that print function on the class. I have also already added the code where we can recognize which are the classes, and then we can see class. There was a code. Yeah, this is the extract classes name. I have already added a function, and that will basically find all the classes. It will add that to the functions return type list, so that we will recognize all those functions which are returning that class type, and it will basically work fine with that too. There is no problem in that. And these were like some limitations. One other limitations that I have noticed is like some people prefer this type of code if there is just in this condition, if there is just one return string. So what happens is when our code runs, like we are just doing string manipulations in the backend, it will see a return. It will try to add a print statement, but as there are like only one statement allowed in the if condition, and then we will have a print statement, and then will be the return statement. It will create an error. So to counter that, like we can use if there is no brackets before this bracket, like if there is no curly bracket, opening curly bracket after just before return, and this come, then we can add a bracket and we can do this. But like these things are like very small things and that are not implemented right now, and we will be implementing them in the future. And I guess the video is already way too long, so let me like try show you run it with a few more cases, uh, and then I will be making another video about the detailed code, and I will tell you we need contributions to the code. Let me just run this case first. We will show you how to take input. Input. Let me use the scanner. Here I have created a basic scanner class which will take an input, and then we will pass it to the staircase function. Staircase function is again something that we have used a lot of time. You have to tell the number of ways to reach nth stair if you can take a 1, 2, or 3 steps. Mm. So what this is basically, it will use a scanner. It will need an input, and we will take a, and then we will pass that n to the staircase. Here let's just use a small input for now. Let's say 6. We added the input here. We press submit, and there was some error. Okay, please fix that. Your error is copied to clipboard. There was some error, and let me check. Oh, there is some error in the scanner. This has is small. There is like we currently show that user has an error in his code, but what in the future I was thinking, like if there is an error, then we will just like show it here so that user can read it. And yes, we corrected that, and we press submit again. Yes, this time it's working fine. Uh, Here, like this is the staircase. Staircase 6 called 5, 4, and 3. for every n we are calling n minus 1, n minus 2, and n minus 3. And then 5 will call 4, 3, 2, 4 will call 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1 are basically all the base cases. 1, 2, 3, these are the base cases. So they will not like call anyone or anything. There is like one thing that we have to add the return type, what a function is returned. We can add that, it's like no big deal. I will add it in the future. So it will call these functions and stuff. It's the correct again. So at the final point, the like I said in the before the video, the project is not yet completed. It's about maybe 40-50% completed or stuff like that. But it can easily create all the recursion tree that we need. First thing, why the website is not live yet? The website is not live yet because for every function we are basically we are running it in backend for the 2 times, and like I am a backend engineer, so I know how to um, make it live or use. But the thing is, it's just too costly, and I can't really. It's too costly. I have to buy a domain ad and stuff like that. We will be making maybe like that in the future. Once we plus, this is not like a very user-ready theme, I guess. It's kind of a developer preview right now. Sometimes there are errors, we are not showing them properly to the user. Or like for right now, you need Node. You need to know how to use Node if you want to run. You just have to install it. You don't need to know a very lot about that. But maybe someone is just a coder in Java and he don't know how to use that, so it will be like a half-baked product, and it's not. It's never good. Uh, So one thing, there are multiple things. First, I need contributions for this project. The project is already big, and I can't like just add support for multiple languages because I know Java, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. But in the I want to add like support for C, maybe C++, Python, and every other language. Second thing is because if you have money, you can contribute to us. It will help us make the website live more faster so that everyone can use it. This project will be available, the code will be available on GitHub. If you want, you can just use it on your device. There is no problem. But if you use it commercially, please tell me, like ask me first for commercial uses. And hmm, we need contributions, we need support to make the project live. I don't know the languages. Let's say that's the topic, how to add support for multiple languages. Like I said, there are like few steps. First, we recognize the function, then we add the print statement to those functions, then we run that function, and then we create the mm, basically JSON tree for that. The JSON tree which will be created will be unique to all those functions. It was the hardest part, and it is already created. There is no problem in that. So let's say if you want to add support for C++. So in C++, what you have to do is you have to basically create just two functions. One function that will recognize all the functions in the C language, and the second function will be basically to add those print statements. I have already like created the algorithm to add the optimized algorithm. I'm using stacks to add them faster because things can sometimes be slow. And so yeah, you create these two functions, and the support for C++ language will be added. If you help me, if you want to work on front end, maybe you can help me create the tree. And this website, I believe, is using d3.js. I don't know that. Or like if you have something, if you know some other library to be used on front end that can create a tree. We need to show the tree on our website so that user can interact with our website. Let's say if there are array of multiple length, we can just show him compacted, and then user clicks on it. Then we will show it on the maybe top right corner or somewhere else like that. So if you are a front-end developer, we need you. If you are a back-end developer, we need you. If you need any other language, we need you. You can contribute if you are a newbie or if you are contributing for a lot from a lot. If you are experienced, I also need you because I guess this will be a big project, and I haven't like ever. I'm still a college student. I haven't managed this big project before. So if you have maybe some experience, you will be very valuable. And yes, that's it, I guess. I will be giving you the GitHub link. On the GitHub, I will be like adding all the steps if you want to run it on your key use cases. I will be also try to make like a issue page or a Google Docs where I will be telling there, like I said, there are some things that you can't use it here right now, and I will be adding also a list of them. So if you want to contribute, and contribute to them. If you want to run the project, maybe use it for your local purpose, you can use it. I have no problem. If you want to use it for commercial, please contact me first. It's not for commercial. I want to keep it free. And yes, I guess this is the code. If you want to contact me, you can contact me from the description. I will be giving my. Mm, there is also my GitHub if you want to contact me for Git on GitHub. My GitHub is basically lovecase9896, and you can contact me here. Thank you.